boy goes into the jungle to slay a tiger, but he comes back with the scars of a man. This is his rite of passage. He looks different. He is different. Does he fear having to show his scars? Of course not. He is proud of them because they represent both to himself and to others that he was able to muster the courage to follow his rite of passage into becoming a man. But today, we have no tigers to slay. Our society has thrown out the masculine rite of passage. What matters more today is if you feel like a man, or if you are pretty as a man, or if you are in touch with your feminine side. In other words, in this world, we care more about appearing than about being. And this cheats so many boys out of their rite of passage to become men. Well, it's time to recognize that in this modern world, both your aspirations and your biology are still calling on you to become a man. Accepting balding is your rite of passage, and here's how you do it. Now, first off, who am I? Well, my name is Spencer, and I'm the 28-year-old COO of a company that did $30 million in sales in just 30 months. Now, I have a physique that I'm proud of, I make multi-six figures a year, and I'm bald. In fact, I don't think any of the things that I mentioned before would have been possible if I wasn't bald. So if you are losing your hair or you are scared of losing your hair, make sure that you watch until the end of this video, and your perspective on balding will completely flip like so many of the other men that I've spoken to in the past, I promise. So listen up. When balding happens to you, you no longer get away with being a cute young man. You are now either a bald loser or a masculine king. Those two are your options, and there are no middle grounds. Now, here's the main thing you need to remember as you watch this video. Baldness will only look bad on you if you are unwilling to make the transition that future you is calling on you to make. It's like the loser guy who chases after his girlfriend time and time again after she continues to cheat on him. He's just not accepting the reality, so he looks pathetic and weak, and little by little, he becomes pathetic and weak. Now, in a minute, I'm going to tell you about my own rite of passage with baldness, but before we get to that, here are 3 points to know right out of the gate about baldness that you probably don't already know. 1, confidently being bald gives you an edge in people's minds. You're dangerous. 2, you are now forced to adopt a regular routine. This means haircuts basically a couple of times a week. And 3, the bald look is handsome and masculine. The balding look is insecure and ugly. I mean, look, just think about it. When you're walking down the street and you see a dude with hair as thin as a fucking newborn, people make comments like, "I think it's time to let it go, dude." Or, "What is he doing holding on to that tiny little bit he has left?" Etc., etc. The point is here, guys, that people are criticizing him for not doing what a man should do, face reality. I guarantee you that no one is saying these things about people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Jason Statham or these classic bald figures that look so masculine and confident. Now, yeah, on the flip side, there are some cosmetic options that you can use to keep your hair. And of course, some very famous people have gone this route. But I am seriously urging you not to go down that path. You're gonna need to go through a pricey surgical procedure and be forced to take pills basically every single day that are used to modulate your testosterone. And like, for what? For your hair? Instead, accept that you've been chosen and move into your new identity as swiftly as you can. Do not linger on the guy you used to be in high school, because I'm telling you, as you get older, hair or no hair, lingering on the guy you were in high school will make you a loser. Okay, I'm gonna be straight with you. Choosing your new path with baldness and who you're going to become is an incredible path, but of course it has some emotional hurdles. So on that journey, let's talk a little bit about what's on the other side of taking that razor to the scalp. As you finally accept and embrace that nature is calling you to become a man, here are some of the realities that you will be faced with. The first thing is obviously you're going to worry that people care or give a shit. They don't. You may receive a comment here and there, but I'm telling you, it's your fragile ego that's letting that comment turn into a source of insecurity for you. If you really listen, nobody is saying anything inherently negative. Or on the odd chance that they are, it's them just trying to deflect their own insecurities, not have the spotlight on them, and that's just what humans do. The next reality of shaving your head is the first time you do it, your head's going to appear a little bit whiter than the rest of your face and the rest of your skin. This is natural, this is normal. This is obviously to be also expected because you had hair on your head for your entire life. Now, I'm just telling you as advice, this is going to go away quickly, but if you really care, just decide to schedule a tanning session in the same day you know you're going to shave your head, or the day after, or make sure you get some sun, but just do not overdo it because you don't want to burn your scalp and affect your brain and have all that negative shit that comes with that. The third thing, which is kind of similar to the first one I mentioned, is that you're worried that your friends from from the past are going to see the new you and they're going to say something about it. They're going to care. They're going to make a comment. Well, listen, if you take this as a superpower that you've been bestowed with by your own biology, this superpower of masculinity, this is going to serve you in building a business, working out your physique, making more money, getting more women, and just in general making moves in your life. If you're doing this, then sure, your old friends can make comments if they want, which they probably won't, but these comments are going to be coming from fat, broke, sexless, insecure losers that are just trying to hide, again, their own insecurity as humans do. My advice on this is genuinely try and forget these comments. I know it's hard to begin with, but once you realize really what being bald is doing for you, you're really not going to care what other people have to say or think when they're in a worse position in life than you are. Now, the final reality that I want to point out here is that you are going to have to work at building the courage to accept the new you. And I say accept because I know it's not easy at first. But if you use this experience as a genuine springboard into your new masculine, dominant, ambitious identity, it will become your superpower, I'm telling you. However, on the flip side, if you stay a boy, scared and hiding all the time, you're investing energy into becoming that person forever. Look, gentlemen, here's the real issue here. Up until now, you've seen balding as something that's terrifying and something that you're afraid of. What you need to understand is it can be the best thing that ever fucking happened to you. It comes down to choosing whether or not you accept that the universe has handed you a masculine rite of passage that you can either choose to walk or not. But once you do, you begin to see balding as a gift that shows you and reminds you daily of the man that you've chosen to become. Now, I talk about all of this with the context of wishing this is the way it happened for me. My personal story is a little bit of a different one, which I'm going to share with you now. Now, when I was a teen, I would always get a buzz cut, and for as long as I can remember, other than when I was a really, really young child, I always had pretty short hair. One day in my early 20s, I was in my bathroom here in my apartment, and I asked my best friend who lived with me at the time if he would be willing to shave my head completely bald. Now, I really did this just because I was bored. I kind of wanted to send a photo to my mother that I knew would shock her, and I thought it would feel kind of cool, which it does. But at the time, I really didn't have any sort of balding going on or anything like that, or so I thought. Now, after a couple of days, when the hair started to really grow in on my head, I started to realize that there were some areas that grew in a little bit faster than other areas would. And the reality that I would really come to realize in a few months was that at 23, I was going bald. Now, of course, I was a little bit concerned, but it was made a little bit easier that months prior, I had chosen that hairstyle before it had chosen me, I guess. Now, as I mentioned in this video, strangely, I wish it could have gone differently, and I wish that it could have chosen me before I chose it, so I really could have experienced what I'm telling you guys to go through, which is having the courage to choose the man that you're being called to be. Now, again, in my personal experience, I never really felt that deep, strong insecurity of going bald. Now, look, I always hear what I'm about to tell you from guys who are kind of losing their hair, and when I tell them I didn't really go through insecurity and I don't really feel insecure now at all, I actually really like it, I always hear the exact same comment, and it's always this: yeah, dude, because it looks so good on you, man. You can pull it off. Of course you're not insecure. But here's what I'm telling you. It can look good on you too. You just need to recognize that if you do not treat it as a rite of passage to which you have been called, then you're not going to have the confidence to pull it off. You're going to feel like you've been afflicted with something instead of gifted something. And that honestly is the real secret to pulling it off, guys. And guess what? Now, me being bald is even talked about like it's an unfair advantage, which it is. Now, I remember being in the car one time and I was with the CEO of the company and he was asking me, how do you talk about this and that? You know, it was kind of a social situation. I can't go into too many details because it's his own personal thing, but it was kind of a social situation where he was looking for some advice and he was wondering how he should handle something with masculinity, with authority, with dominance, those sort of virtues. And I basically told him, here's how I handle it. Here's what I say, here's what I mean, here's what I do. And he literally responds with, bro, I can't do that. I don't have the whole bald thing going on. I'm not going to be taken seriously if I say that. Now look, take from that story that going bald really is what you make of it. And so here is a dead simple process of how you're going to make it the best thing that ever happened to you. Now again, this is remembering the higher order that you have been called to. So take this moment with pride and cherish it. And then every moment going forward, remember that this moment stood for courage and taking reality for what it is, despite your feelings. and recognize that it will forever mark the decision that you made to become the man that you must become. Okay, here it is. Number 1, go to the store and buy some good, high quality shaving cream and a razor. Number 2, get a buzz cut, go to a friend, do it yourself, go to a barber, but just get the shortest buzz cut that you can get. Now I want you to get into a hot or a warm shower and let the water run over your scalp. This is gonna make it way easier to shave when the time comes in just a moment. Now I want you to get out of the shower, look yourself in the mirror, and fill the basin with warm water. Take a deep breath, run the razor over your head, and keep going until the hair is all gone. Now, you're not going to be a pro at this. You might miss some areas. You might cut yourself here and there, but you're going to learn in time. Now, congratulations. You've just made the decision that takes thousands of men decades to make. Now, go leave a fucking dent in the universe. Now, look, if you're someone who's been thinking about shaving their head now for a while, but you keep procrastinating, in about 10 seconds, I'm going to put a video up on your screen that is meant for you. So you need to check that video out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Spencer with Must Become. Always remember your potential is your obligation, and so what you can become, you must become.